Welcome to the Texas Goat Radio Show. I'm your host, Matorius. This is part 23 of the 1744 live stream by Owen Benjamin.
I'm not going to pretend I'm something I'm not. What's the utilitarian reason for 5 obligatory prayers a day?
It's hilarious that that's how it starts off. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. That's all he does. Because he doesn't stand for anything, so he has to pretend to be something that he is not.
Why not 8 or 10? Bismo Bear, I get it. I get that there has to be a point when everybody isn't just saying why. I get it. And I will say that Jim Bob did make that point. And that was one of the few valid points that grimy little freak made in that debate, was that there is an end to utilitarianism. There comes a point when you just have to say, because it is. Because, I know my limits. You know, I get it. Because, at some point you have to be a Bravo. This is all coming together from the stream. It's about being a yes man. How yes men are so important for an alpha. To be a yes man to God is important. Wow, that's really profound. But
this dude is so pseudo-intellectual, so preposterously ridiculous. Wow, that's really profound, guys. Did you hear what I just said? Oh, and he's supposedly a comedian. It's all a joke. It's not really. This dude is really dangerous. This has been one of the toughest videos to get through. If you've watched the first 22 parts of this, oh, man. Oh.
I always get, I have this upbringing that makes me not trust any religion totally. And that's just a fact. I'm from a very age of reason, enlightenment, prove it with rhetoric and logic household, and it's so hard for me. But Jim Bob's version of blind trust leads to vaccines. I know, I realize that, Codsworth. That's why because Jim Bob said that if his priest told him to take a vaccine, he would take the vaccine. I find that insane.
I don't think Jim Bob ever said that, to be honest with you. I think he said he would wear a mask if the church recommended it, if I'm not mistaken, which I very well could be.
That's why I have a hard time with men. If a man in a robe tells me he represents God, I never submit to them. I just can't. I'm like, you're a guy who shits and pisses and pukes and squirts. Why are you? You're not above me in any way. You're just not. Then people go, humble yourself before the Lord. And I'm like, but you're not the Lord. Ask Louis XIV how that ended, being the Sun King, the I Am, right? His son got his head chopped off by a bunch of fags. True story. French Revolution, a bunch of fags with a guillotine just chopped off everyone's head. Just a friendly dual-purpose letter from Bertari's barber. Purpose number...
So people who were standing up to an overbearing government are a bundle of sticks, according to Owen. Of course he would say that. Why? Because he is a weak, pathetic individual. He doesn't know how the world works. He doesn't. He knows how words work to a certain point. A master rhetorician, or whatever that word is. His wizardry, rhetoric, spellcraft is all very dangerous. It is. Because to people that they don't have their guard up, so he is very easily able to manipulate people. That's why he still has supporters, is because if people actually did stop, slow down, and pay attention to exactly what this guy is, who he is, what he stands for, what he's actually saying, if they did dive into his past and see where he has come from and what has made him him and what he actually stands for, instead of what he just says he stands for. He's the snake oil salesman that comes through town in the 1700s and 1800s, selling poison as a cure.
One, proof that the post office is great and always delivers, except on Veterans Day. Goddamn veterans, indeed. Yeah, see, again, like, I'm not just wrong with my utilitarian view, because I saw how people put their faith in men in robes, and they were duped and tricked and raped. And I will never be that guy. That being said, submission to the law would be relaxing. Like, I used to do a bit about how it must be so relaxing being in a cult. I did this bit in fucking college. I was like, every day you wake up, you're like, what am I going to wear today? Oh, man, do I have clean clothes? But not in a cult. You're like, the robe. Same thing I wear every day. We'll be adding new donors.
He'll tell this story about Jim Bob, about him, and he says this as though it's a virtue. Him and the big, or what was it, the Bertaria Intelligence Group, because they're not a dangerous cult, right? The Bertaria Intelligence Group, this pathetic group of people who submit themselves to Owen and his rhetoric and see, I try not to do that, because they need to be encouraged to leave the group. Anyways, he has people, grown men, who submit themselves to him, actually participate in the real world and track people down that have gone against him, the way a cult would do. And he says that he tracked down Jim Bob's ex-wife, and she said that he used to want to be a leader of a cult. Well, he just admitted that back in college, he gave it so much thought that he was doing pro-cult propaganda by saying how easy it was because you don't have to pick what you wear. That does sound exactly something that he would say.
To the portal. Once in the portal, that's the best place to communicate about rewards and details. Just getting ready to catch up on all that. It's easier to put in bulk, bringing people in and answering stuff. The next few days, emails will go out, portal invitations, and festival details. And today is the final day for rewards for this year's fundraise. That's BertariaCampgrounds.com.
No.
Purpose number 2, support for the biggest of bears. Know this, no matter what happens, we will always have your back. I finished with a favorite quote of mine from my favorite bard. Fuck 'em. Onward to Bertaria. Precision Barber Bear. P.S. Any word from the Irish piece of shit bear, or is it true that he has indeed become a gay? Which Irish piece of shit? Burn Bear? Mountain Bear? There's a bunch of them. Which Irish piece of shit bear?
That's another, what's it called? Benefit of being in the Bertaria cult, the Owen Benjamin cult. Verbal humiliation. Verbal assault. Because it's not funny. Him just blatantly talking crap to people. It's not. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and my buddies will, what do they call it? Razzing? Making jokes. But yeah, that's around a core group of people, right? Not 50 or 100, however many they have.
I consider them all. All the Irish to me are a piece of shit. Blue silver sun in the morning. Okay, I have 2 more letters to read, and then I will land this glorious plane. Big Bear, thanks to you, I plan to rebuild my family. This is the synchronicity, because I already opened this, because I always open packages before. It's my policy, and she sent me a book. This is a super funny letter, by the way. So I go into my post.
If I'm repeating this part of this, I apologize. I feel as though I've already seen this part. I don't know why. I probably have. This is such a long video. So many emotions, so many states of sanity has gone into this.
Office box this morning, and I see a locker number, and it says 44 on it. And I always laugh at 44 because I hear the grabber go 44, death's door. Put the lotion on your hands, like that thing, because the 44 looks like 2 dudes with big noses, both looking in the same direction. And I'm like, oh, 44, that's funny. And I open it up, and the first line, thanks to you, I plan to rebuild my family's 44-acre farm. I was like, that's hilarious. I don't know what that means, but this was in locker 44 today. In Tennessee, it's been neglected for the last 2 decades. We almost sold it in 2019, and I surely would have wasted the money on vacations and cars. I now hope that my sons and their families will one day live there. Thank you for the inspiration and all the streams. I hope your boys enjoy this book as much as...
I'm going to remind you that if you see anything good come out of Bertaria, or whatever you want to call this whole cult fiasco of Owen Benjamin, any good at all, it is in spite of Owen and not because of Owen.
I do. This is really funny, this next part. P.S. I'm still mad you called me bro and gamma last week. Said I wasn't invited to the hospital orgies. I'm a lady nurse. I had to change my Twitter profile pic after that. Laugh out loud. Peppy verified as Boops Bear. Much love, Boops Bear. Yeah, welcome, Boops Bear. Yeah, I was on a tirade about how much nurses fuck in hospitals and how unfaithful they can be. Because hospitals, to me, they just look like sex clubs. And apparently, she was. Like, I've been a nurse and I haven't seen any, and I was like, oh, you fucking.
To the perverse, all things are perverse.
Emma, I'm like, they just didn't invite you. I thought it was a guy. I'm sorry, I was just being a psychopath. I mean, my wife's mom's a nurse. Like, I'm a dick. Like, I just say.
That's a strange way of saying retarded.
Shit. So I know there's a lot of nurses, at least 9. That have not orgied at the hospital on pills and crack.
At this point, I feel like I'm just being mean. I'm sorry. This is... I do apologize. I do. This one's a tough one to go through. There's so many different reasons to just trash this horrible human being of a person. I mean, think about everything that he said in this one live stream. It's insane that grown people with the cognitive ability to decipher information still support this guy.
And you guys, I salute. Owen, a fellow tradesman told me about you on a Tops about 3 weeks ago. I wasn't through the first podcast and I was hooked. You had me at nigger. I never get sick of hearing that. It was the episode with Dr. Shiva. Then I listened to you explain who Robert F. Kennedy.
This is the type of people that he collects these days. This is the type of people that he collects. You had me at the N-word.
In hope I was thinking he'd be a good guy to vote for. Well, here's some money to pay away the gay. I grew up in the Berkshire Mountains of Western Massachusetts. Many similarities to what I've heard you describe in your hometown. A Catholic church on every corner, sodomites to the left of me, sodomites to the right of me. Oh yeah, they're fucking gross. It's a bar and a Catholic church on every fucking...
It's bizarre for people to actually think the way they do and word their sentences the way they do. Hey, yeah, there's sodomites to the left and right of me, but here's money, Daddy Bear, Big Master. Here's money for me to pay my gay away, sir. Because there's sodomites on both sides of me. But here's money so that I'm no longer gay. Please accept my humble sacrifice to you and your kingdom.
All they want to do is get something in their ass.
Oh,
drunk.
my.
Saturday they get hammered. Sunday they're forgiven. Monday they're gay again. I see you nurses are angels. I saw no sex at the hospital. I guess it depends on the department. I was probably, I'd seen some...
So from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, okay? And then you accuse people of being what you are. And so in this moment, I don't think it's too far-fetched to assume that to be a bear, you have to be a sodomite and a PDF computer file. I don't think that's far-fetched, to be honest with you. Now, does it suck to say that? Yes, it does. That doesn't please me. I'm not happy about that. But logic says 1 + 1 = 2.
And some of my friends were going through some things, and I was just disgusted by what I was hearing. So I went a little off on Twitter, but I'm sure there's a lot of nurses that are not getting, quote unquote, plowed by the doctors with their pills. All right.
To any of the nurses and mail carriers out there, thank you for what you do. Y'all actually do, along with a lot of other people, help society succeed. And just because he endorses you or talks crap about you doesn't really mean anything. I've grown to gather that Owen does not have much weight in his pockets whatsoever.
Sodomites all around me. Charged the brigade. Been listening to a few dozen episodes on the job. Finally, someone not afraid to speak the truth. I love truth. I hate lies and liars. Your advice on how to govern oneself resonates with me. Taught those same principles to my
Owen's thoughts on how to govern oneself. Go to a Chinese restaurant or a anything that offers fortune cookies. Don't even purchase a meal. Just say, hey, give them $5. Say, how many fortune cookies could I get for this? There'll be more wisdom in that $5 worth of fortune cookies than in 1,000 hours of listening to Owen Benjamin. And you'll be better off for it because it's not connected to the insane ramblings of this deranged cult leader. This is the Texas Goat Radio Show, and I'm your host, Pretorius. As always, till next time.